You know that person who still check their bank account 3 times a day even though they have money in it on? The one who can't throw away leftovers, the one who feels guilty spending money on themselves even when they can actually afford it. The one who grew up hearing we can't afford that. So many times it became a voice inside their head that never left. That person is not bad with money. They are not paranoid. And they are definitely not overreacting. Their brain was shaped by something most people don't fully understand until they have lived it. And today we are breaking down the psychology of people who grew up where the one society tells to just move on. But science says the story is far more complicated than that. First, let's understand what poverty actually does to a developing brain. Growing up poor is not just about not having things. It's not just about wearing the same shoes 2 years in a row or skipping field trips because a permission slip cost money your family don't have. It's about what happens inside your brain when scarcity becomes your normal. Neuroscientists have discovered that chronic stress from financial instability actually changes the way child brain develops. The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for planning, decision making, and regulating emotions, develop differently in children who grow up under constant financial stress. The brain that grow up in scarcity become weird for survival, not for the future, for right now, for the immediate threat in front of it. Because when you don't know if the lights are going to be on tomorrow, thinking about next year is a luxury your nervous system cannot afford. This is not a character flaw, this is a neuroscience and it follows people for decades after the poverty is gone. There is a specific psychological patterns these people carry on. Psychologists call it scarcity mind and it is exactly what it sounds like. When your brain spends years operating in an environment of not enough, it starts seeing the world through that lens permanently. Not enough money, not enough security, not enough time before things falls apart again. Even when circumstances change, the lens does not automatically change with them. So you get the adult who grew up poor and now earns a decent living but still feels like they are one emergency away from losing everything. Still buy the cheaper option when they don't have to. Still feels a knot in their stomach when they swipe their card. It's not irritational, it's a brain doing exactly what it was trained to do, protect you from the disaster it learned to always expect. Because growing up poor does not just shape how you think about money, it shapes how you think about yourself. In a society that quietly equates worth with wealth, children who grew up without money receive a message very clearly and very early. Sometimes it's loud and direct, others time it is in the eyes of a classmate who noticed your clothes, in the teacher who assumed you won't go to college, in the birthday party you couldn't go because the gift was too expensive. Psychologists call this class shame and it burrows deep. It creates a quiet belief that you are less than, that the world was built for other people, that you have to work twice as hard just to deserve a seat at the same table. And the painful part is that even when these people achieve things, even when they build the life they were told they could not have, the shame does not always disappear with the circumstances, it just gets better at hiding. Here is something that surprised people. Many people who grew up poor become some of the hardest working, most resilient, most resourceful people you will ever meet. And that's not an accident. When you grow up without a safety net, you learn something that can't be taught in any classroom. You learn that nobody is coming to save you, that if something needs to happen, you have to make it happen. That problem don't wait for you to be ready. Psychologists call this adversity driven competence. The skill built in survival becomes genuine strength in adulthood. The ability to stretch resources, to stay calm in crisis, to find creative solutions when the obvious options are not available. These people don't panic when things get hard. They have been managing hard since they were child. Hard is just Tuesday to them. But here's the cost nobody talks about. When you are the capable of handling everything alone, asking for help starts to feel impossible. Rest starts to feel irresponsible. Slowing down starts to feel like a threat because somewhere deep in their nervous system, the engine of survival is still running. Still convinced that stopping means falling behind. Still convinced that comfort is something that gets taken away. And there is the relationship piece. Growing up poor affect how people connect with others in ways that are rarely discussed. Some people who grew up poor carry a deep distrust around money in relationships. They notice who pays, who doesn't, who spends carelessly, not because they are keeping score out of pettiness, but because money for them was never just money, it was safety, it was stability, it was the difference between okay and not okay. When someone treats money recklessly, it does not feel just irresponsible to them. It feels genuinely frightening because they know what the other side of reckless looks like. They lived there. There is always something else. People who grew up poor sometimes struggle with imposter syndrome in a way that goes beyond the typical professional version. They don't just feel like they don't belong in the room, they feel like they snuck in through a door that was never meant for them. Like someone is eventually going to notice they are not supposed to be there and send them back. Back to where they came from. Back to who they were told they would always be. Let's talk about the guilt. Because the one does not get nearly enough attention. Many people who grew up poor and then built a better life carry a complicated, heavy guilt about it. Guilt for living, guilt for having more than the people they grew up with, guilt for wanting things their parents never had, guilt for succeeding in a world that their family could not crack. Psychologists call this survivor guilt applied to class mobility. It sounds strange but is incredibly common. You work hard to get somewhere better, but getting somewhere better means the gap between you and home gets wider. And widening that gap feels like a kind of betrayal even when nobody asks you to stay small. So, small people unconsciously self sabotage. Here is what people who did not grow up poor often miss. They think poverty is just a financial condition, something you fix with enough income and enough time. But poverty is also an emotional education. It teaches you specific lesson about the world, about your place in it, about what you can expect and what you are allowed to want. And those lessons don't get automatically unlearned when the bank account changes. The child who learned that stability always ends is still in the adult who can't enjoy good times without waiting for them to fall apart. The child who learned they were less than is still in the adult who over explain themselves in professional settings. The child who stretched every dollar is still in the adult who feels physical discomfort spending money on joy. These are not weakness, they are survival strategies that outlive the condition that created them. So, if this is you, hear this. Where you started is not a measure of who you are. The voice in your head that says you are one mistake away from losing everything is not the truth. It's a recording from a time when that was actually true. You are allowed to feel safe now. You are allowed to rest without guilt. You are allowed to want things and have things and enjoy things without waiting for them to be taken away. The scarcity was real, the struggle was real, the shame they tried to put on you was never yours to carry. And the strength you built in all of that, the part is yours forever. Nobody can take that back. And if this video reads something in you that you don't usually let people touch, subscribe. Because next time we are going into the psychology of people who always feel like they are not doing enough. And I think you already know why that one is connected to everything we just talked about.